You are now tuned in to Wonderful Radio. We are taking a sound journey with Keena.Maya for episode 34 on Wonderful Radio. Exploring a wide range of sounds, Keena has blessed us with a lovely mix, unique in style and genre. And it is always great chatting with new women via the platform. And I was definitely pleased to interview Keena and talk more about her musical duo and other forms of her creative expression. A beautiful spirit indeed. Enjoy this brief interview and stick around for the sounds by Keena.Maya.
Hi, y'all. It's Keena.Maya. Honored to be here on Wonderful Radio. An invitation to feel the music. Blessings to your being.
Hey, what's up? It's Silly Girl Carmen. I'm sitting here with Keena.Maya. We're going to do a quick interview and then you guys can enjoy her mix for Wonderful Radio. How are you doing today, Keena?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Carmen?
Very well. We already discussed that. It's a little bit of a gloomy, rainy day for us both, but we're doing good. So we're going to jump right into this. Well, actually, before we do, maybe you can tell us for other listeners and everything where you're from, and then where you're currently based.
Yeah, so I grew up in the Panhandle of Florida and then spent the last 10 years in New York City. And then just last summer, I moved 2 hours north of the city into the Hudson Valley. So that's where I am right now, up in Hudson, New York.
Very cool. Good to know. So we're going to jump right into this. I always love to ask DJs when and how their DJ journey started. Can you give us some background into the beginnings of your journey?
Yeah, so for me, it was something, it kind of found me. Mm-hmm. I grew up dancing, and when I moved to New York City, I found two different communities there, both this Burning Man kind of underground nightlife scene alongside the ecstatic dance and five rhythms conscious dance community. And I really started reconnecting with the dance, and from there, it led to meeting a lot of other DJs, starting to produce events, and then slowly, it really was my partner, Joro. He is a longtime DJ, and he was really kind of, hey, why don't you start DJing? Your taste in music is so good, and you have this awareness of the space, and you'd be so good at it. And I was like, nah, I'm good. Like, there's so many DJs out there. But then one day I was like, okay, let's go. Start teaching me. And yeah, from there it was kind of history, and that was about 4 years ago.
Okay, very cool. So you were saying you already had a background in dance and that type of artistic expression.
Yeah, more like actual, ballet and jazz, okay. All of these things. But then when I moved to New York, just finding more of this free form, expressive dance, and just found it to be so therapeutic and connective to other people.
Yeah, very cool.
And yeah, the music really being the driver of those kinds of experiences.
Yeah, exactly. So I was looking through your website and I saw online that you are a half of a duo called Being Sound. I explored the website and I loved, the bit of the aesthetic and expression I saw from that. Can you tell us more about the project and collaboration?
Yes, so that's with my partner, Joro, who I mentioned. Nice. We started the project similar, even before I started DJing about 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. And it really came about because we both started meditating and getting into this mindfulness practice and just found a huge benefit in our lives. And we met so many people who were sort of like, oh, I can't do that. Meditation's not for me. It's, it's not accessible. And so we started doing these bass meditations where we used deep sub bass paired with other traditional kind of sound instruments like singing bowls and gongs, and led these sound meditations. And we found that for a lot of people, especially younger people who, the bass, it's so much in our contemporary music, and it has this feeling, like you feel the sounds, you feel the vibration of the bass. And we found it really opened a space for people to be present, and also seeing that, meditation can look so many different ways. You don't have to just be sitting on a cushion. You can also be in movement. And so that's how we got into it. And then from there, we also started producing more dance forward music. And last year we released our debut EP, At Home, just a few weeks before the shutdown and lockdown happened. So it was a little strange. And it was really all about finding home in one's body, feeling at home wherever you are, and the power of music and dance to bring you there.
Nice.
So encourage all the listeners to check that out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I definitely will put your information together, and people should definitely go check out the site. You guys have a nice rollout of everything, so they can get an idea of what that is. So would you say the duo, it's still that, like a little bit of the performance space is like a meditative experience, but it's also the music exploring? Is it really that combination?
Yeah, and we really found for us, we've kind of even stopped even using meditation in our descriptions because it can turn people off.
Right.
And really finding more through this avenue of art and performance art that we can actually create a more inclusive space for many types of people.
Nice.
And now we have in the works some more original productions. For so long we were just focused on live performance because it's so much about being in the moment and creating with people there and the environment. But with the state of things right now and not being able to so much gather together in person, we've been spending these past months working more in the studio, getting some of our productions together. So
perfect.
Slowly we'll be releasing more.
Yeah, awesome. So I was also digging around and I saw a post on your Facebook page associated with a collective called Bay. Can you tell us more about this and maybe your connection and association with it?
Yeah, so Collective Bay is a collective from Brooklyn, New York, and we are by women for all, and it's really been led by a dear sister of mine, Dreamy. She started the collective, I think, over 4 years ago now, and it's been beautiful to see it evolve. Really, it centers women and female identifying performing artists, musicians, poets, makers, all kinds of interdisciplinary artists. And really it took the format of events in the city, gatherings where people could come together. A lot of them, especially in the later years, were at another dear friend's space called Ambrosia Elixirs. And it served all plant-based, non-alcoholic elixir beverages.
Nice.
And that was really a amazing part of what Bay was offering and still is offering, is how we don't necessarily need alcohol to be there in our nightlife scene. And not that it's, inherently bad, but there's a lot of challenges that can come about when people are needing to drink to be able to have fun, to connect to each other. And so it was really beautiful how Bay offered this more safe type of environment and space for people to come out and have a night out on the town. And also, so my involvement has been, it's really where I started DJing a lot too. And Dreamy is so amazing at holding space for up and coming artists and talent to just have a space to get out there, to perform. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's not about performing to thousands of people, and just giving that opportunity in a world where sometimes it's really hard to just get a gig or get a show and, feel like comfortable to really come up and be vulnerable and express. So I started DJing a lot of the events and just going as a participant. And now the collective has kind of been shifting into more of this mindful music label. Even before the pandemic kind of reeled back on the live events, and they opened a Patreon portal. So now the collective releases content every month, a lot of times aligns with the moon cycles, and from dance journeys, meditations, different kind of creativity prompts, and really spreading the ethos of the collective out to more people, because it was so good to have this really tight-knit community in Brooklyn, but reached a place where we wanted to start giving back, sharing to more people, sharing to people who maybe were in more non-urban environments, who maybe didn't have access to these types of practices or ideas, or just a like-minded community. So it's kind of taken now more into this online portal world.
Nice. Yeah, that's really cool to hear about that collective. And I like that, particularly since I've started doing Wonderful Radio, being for all female, just me picking up on more initiatives and groups and collectives. It's like, okay, cool. Like a lot of people moving in a like-minded way. It's cool to see that. And I think right now I agree with you because of the lockdown, it's kind of cool. There's a new layer of connecting with people from all around the world with the whole virtual aspect. And I've loved doing Zooms and connecting with other women, and just to meet and have conversations. So it's cool to see some of the transition, but I know some of us are also itching, like we want to get out, we want to share music, we want to dance in person. So, hopefully that's leveling out very soon. Very cool.
It's definitely coming. And I think I feel so fortunate to, have my partner, Joro, who's been so supportive of me, and the Collective Bay, and a lot of other just amazing groups in New York City who are really aware of booking women, trying to bring more female identifying into the lineups and really create a safe space for that. But I have also experienced, the kind of opposite of that, and just it's good that we're kind of banding together and having that mutual support, and just growing up the awareness around trying to create more inclusivity and just a broader range of voices and perspectives that are getting to be amplified and, really reach out to people.
Yeah, I agree with you. So we're going to wrap it up with one more question. You kind of already told us a little bit about, the production side and your dance performing, but what other creative mediums or practices do you explore that influence your set creations, or maybe a creative medium or practice you hope to expand into?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Using my voice more is definitely coming. I'm getting more comfortable with that, and in this next year I'm looking to do some production on my own and really using the voice for guidance. And also in my sets I'm a big lover of astrology and looking to what astrological season we're in, if it's a full moon or a new moon, or if there's an eclipse, or sort of what is happening in this larger world, and how can I more just be a conduit to what is already present. So I like to tap into that and kind of see, and I think excited for getting back together for sure. And seeing how it feels again to be around people. But yeah, I would say for me, it's tapping more into that voice and tapping into kind of the larger realm around us.
Very cool. I feel that's a very relatable place. I feel like I'm a little bit in that same space exploring my own expression. So very cool to hear that from you. Well, we thank you so much for coming on here today. I'm very excited for people to hear your mix. I was just listening to it, and it's definitely a very cool journey of travel, and it has a lot of that like groundedness to it. So very cool to explore. And we look forward to hearing more of your production and your voice in the future. So thank you so much, Keena.
Thank you, Carmen.
Have a
Take
good
care.
one.